in probably the worst conditions he's ever played in his big league career. He comes out, turtleneck on, looks like it's a terrible environment to hit, and he did it again, 3 homer games.
Why is LeBron and all these guys always so important? They get the baseball. Bryce Harper's been standing out in right field. Now he's at first base. He's in the action all the time. We saw him today, fielding ground balls. A ground ball hit, who's they throwing to? The first baseman. We talked about, was he on the base? Did he get spiked? That doesn't happen if he's standing in right field. He's constantly getting the ball. You're constantly drawn to him. There's a conversation with the pitcher. Who's there? Oh, there's Bryce Harper. There's that guy. Oh, that's what he looks like? Wow. You know how many kids turn on the TV and never saw him? I'll go back to the 2000 National League playoff game. How many times he got the ball hit to him? Right here. 6 putouts in 5 games. That's the only time we saw Bryce on camera when he wasn't hitting. Now let's go to first base. He's in there all the time. I want the camera on the stars. And that's why all of a sudden he has taken off in this. For me, I love the move for the sport baseball that Bryce is in the middle of everything now at first base.
So we look forward to the day Ronald Acuna plays first base.
Maybe someday.
You never know. And you're all over it. And two, what it does mentally. When an outfielder, when you have that many putouts, 6 in 5 games, you have so much time. You're out there thinking. How many times I'd look out there and Ryan Klesko would be in a stretch position. He'd be working on his I'd go get it again. Yeah. When you're in the infield, you are truly, when you're on defense, you can't be thinking about anything else. Your mind is free and you're just a baseball player. Here's what I'll say about the Philadelphia Phillies and Bryce Harper. We got to go do 30 clubs in 15 days for a bit. Me and Adnan had a great run through Florida. Being in and around Phillies camp, first off, I wanted to be a part of the team. But Bryce Harper individually, there was no one any more gracious with their time. There's not a more wanted commodity from the fans to the media. Peter Gammons needed an hour with him. He gave it to him. He is truly, like you said, morphed into a great leader and a great face for the sport of baseball.
And he understands that he is an ambassador for the sport. You know, when you look at all the travel ball and all the kids today, Bryce Harper kicked that whole thing off. He's been through that whole phase that we're seeing now. Like, wow, Bryce Harper traveled everywhere. So he was that guy. He was the face of the travel ball. So every travel ball kid wanted to be Bryce Harper. If you watch the Little League World Series, they stand on the line. Favorite player, Bryce Harper, Bryce Harper. I mean, he gets a lot of that because he's a media mogul. He's in the middle of everything. He's got his own shoe. He's on every commercial. He's got his Victus bats now. You name it. But he's there, but he also is gracious with his time, and he's handled it properly. He's done a great job. I remember talking to him years ago when social media was just taking off. And I was like, I'm the old man. No, man, you got to focus on playing ball. You know, and he wanted to get into, I got a tweet and I got an Instagram and all that. And I was like, no, you just need to play. You need to play. And he did his thing. And he just blew up. And I said, good job, young man. You read it better than I did.
Oh, he did. He's got the power to change and wipe away a narrative. All the Phillies bullpen. It's been a problem the last couple of days. He hits 3 home runs. No one's talking about the Phillies bullpen.
Yeah.
That's what Bryce Harper can do.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you're able to get to the ballpark, right, just get here. You play this game for a long time. You understand that you got a 162 season, and sometimes you're just going to, get to the field and feel good, and sometimes you're not. So today, obviously, getting here, we didn't know if we were going to play or not. But we got to the ballpark and ended up winning tonight, and, we'll take that.
Well, Bryce, I'm loving it because you talked to us and everything went right for you guys. So I'm going to ask you, and I have to ask you, what was it that you saw that the rest of the team couldn't figure out about Astrak starting the game?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, just trying to get him over the plate. He's pretty dang good. He's got that cutter that moves a lot. He's got that slider, that changeup. So just trying to jump on him as early as I can, early and often. And Suter, man, he's had my number for a long time. So being able to get to 3-2 against him and having a good at-bat right there was huge.
Hey, Bryce, this is Grandy here. You talked earlier today about that Philly weather out there. It's drizzling, it's windy, the wind chill. And as you mentioned, you didn't know if you were going to play today. As the 31-year-old veteran on that club, how do you keep the rest of the club motivated and excited knowing, hey, there's a chance we're going to play, stay ready to play?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we got to check anybody on this team. I mean, they've been doing it for a long time. Obviously, our young guys are ready to go each night. So not really, don't really have to pump anybody up to get out. Here. I mean, for our fans to show up tonight in this weather, I thought we had a great crowd, and anytime we're able to come to the ballpark and play in the bank, I mean, there's nothing like it.
There is nothing like it. That is right. Thanks for the time, Bryce. Get warm. Appreciate it, as always.
Thanks, y'all.
Thank you, Bryce.
All right, big dog.
We're good luck. Tell your friends, gentlemen. I mean, how about this? The Bryce is right. We said, how's the weather? What did he say? It's Philly. It's Philly out. I said, what does that mean? Dreary as heck. He is a special player. My goodness. When it is rainy and when it is cold and maybe when you don't quite feel like being there, he says, you know what? I got you.
And stay ready. Come to the ballpark. You know you're going to have a chance to play until they tell you the game is over. I think that's just the veteran presence. That's just the mindset. And you know, in Philly, in April, you're going to have days like this, so it's not a surprise, and I think that's what gets those guys ready every day.
I kept looking on the mound, Pedro, thinking, how the heck are they getting a grip on the ball?
Well, it's simple. They know what they have. You don't really need to do much more than you normally do because, as you know, the pitchers stay warmer than the position players. So what they did was use what they had, and you saw Jimmy attack the strike zone with a lot of movement all over the place and changing eye levels from all over, from cutters. You didn't see anything straight until finally Harper got to Ashtrack for a little bit, but nobody else seemed to be centering the ball as good as Bryce Harper was doing because Harper really understands what he's going to see, especially early in the season.
Toughest position to play in the rain? Let me guess. That was a loaded question. I should have known it.
You know what? Only because, and I'll say this on a routine ground ball, because a long ground ball to the third baseman going away from the field, that is a tough throw when a ball is coming off the grass and it's wet. But on a routine ground ball, and more ground balls go to the middle of the field, yeah, it's on your mind, just making sure you get a 4-seam grip and not a 2-seam grip. And all the time, you can't control that. The runner's going up the line and you're moving left to right. And it is a scary throw to make. But myself, I used to go and get some lip balm and just had a little tackiness on it, like the Carmex, the kind of menthol, open up my pores, and that gave me a little extra grip on the ball.
If you missed a second of it at Citizens Bank on a Tuesday night, we got you. It was rainy, it was cold, and Bryce Harper, he did not mind at all. This was the fourth pitch of the at-bat in the first inning, 2 outs, a sinker. Got all of it. First hit of the season, and it was in...
Ding, dong, Johnson. That's
right.
what it was,
First
Lauren.
of the year in dramatic fashion up top. Yes, please, top of the third, 2 outs. Well, Benson's a good player. Down the line, an RBI double down the right field line that will score Tyler Stevenson. You can see the core for Cincinnati. You really can.
Do we get the exit velo on that? Because that ball was loud on
Now
TV.
you're putting me on the spot. Run it back in the bottom of the fourth. So much power, so much focus. He is the chosen one. Ask Sports Illustrated, right? Solo home run.
Another
field.
what?
Ding, dong, Johnson. Yeah.
Way to
Feeling
start the
pretty darn
show with a
good.
couple of.
And worth a replay. That is for darn sure. 2-1 Phils, bottom 6, 2 outs. Trey Turner on third. Bryson Stott, grounder up the middle. And Ellie De La Cruz. It's wide. This is a perfect example of the conditions, right? And it pulls Christian Encarnacion Strand off the bat.
I put that more so on just Ellie, just, being lazy right there,
Really?
not setting his feet. But that ball is still very catchable. And I will say this, when you're getting closer to the first baseman and you got a guy like Ellie who can throw the ball, it does make it unpredictable because you're not sure what's going to happen. He's moving, put him up the line, and it's a tough play.
In the
But it's
bottom
catchable.
of the seventh. Ooh. Oh my gosh, 3-2
Hey, Joe, what do we
count.
got there?
A ding dong
Right center
Johnson
field,
Grant Alani.
third of the night, 8-1 Phillies, and the Phillies roll. The Reds made it interesting late-ish, and they have some guys. Will Benson, nice contact. Christian Encarnacion Strand. You can see sort of a nucleus forming for the Reds. And you know what? You and I were talking about this coming into the game, Jimmy, because when you go deep in the postseason like the Phillies do, and you lose in devastating fashion, not to recap Game 7, sorry about that, of the NLCS, that takes its toll, right? And you think, shoulda, woulda, coulda. Do you think that has any effect on their start to the year?
I think mentally, yes, because you want
How
to come
so?
out and try to make up for that loss. You really do. And there's no way to make up for that loss. But in the back of your mind, once that season starts, once you get out of spring training, we're trying to make up for everything that didn't go right last year. And what didn't go right was Game 7. And so, yes, you come out, you get blown out in Game 1, you find a way to win a game, and then you lose a few more in a row. And it's like, we got to get going. We have to get going. And we've been there where we felt like we should have won. You're trying to make up for those games. Tonight definitely gets them back on the right path, especially when a superstar does what a superstar does.
Yeah.
3 home runs, a grand slam, 6 RBIs, and a win. And that type of weather, less than performance enhancing conditions, he performed with that ball tonight.
Can I add something else, too?
Of course, sir.
A great outing from Turnbull.
Oh, great outing.
Great outing. He stayed in the game. Nothing bothered him. Great tempo, moving the ball all over the place. And he kept the Cincinnati Reds off balance the entire time he was there. Regardless of what they got, which is a couple of line drives, for the kind of offense they have, I think he did an outstanding job. And that's what they need. Proper starting pitching and relievers.
And you said, Ashcraft, he's elevating, and the Phils are aggressive as a lineup in total.
Yeah, they came after him, but he was able to manipulate the ball. He was moving it. He knew the conditions, so he used it to his advantage. So did Turnbull. I mean, they both did an outstanding job, especially attacking the strike zone early and changing eye levels on everybody. They both had probably deserved the same credit. Except you don't have a Bryce Harper that you have to face on the other team.
That's the difference.
And Pedro, what's more difficult there? Is it the mound or the ball? Because it's raining, it's muddy. I know getting that batter's box is slippery, being on the base pass is slippery. What is worse in that situation?
I think the mound is worse if it gets a little bit wet because you're concerned. You slip a little bit, and most likely, for sure, will be an injury. So that's why the umpires were giving the pitchers a little bit more time to clean their cleats.
There is a speed bump on the front. There is a speed bump on the front.